let's do this. All right, let's do this. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Ooh, am I a little hot? Turn that down just a touch. Right there? Sounds good. Welcome to the live stream. So here we are, Boise, Idaho. A nice rainy Thursday. Normally I would like to do these on Wednesdays, but I just got out of the mountains north of McCall, sleeping on the snow, testing out the winter gear. Gonna try to stay out this winter, so it was a good time. We're in the Sawtooth this week. How to hike the Sawtooth, right? I'm just gonna jump right into it, just in case people showed up and they're just like, I just want to know how to hike this, John. I watched the video. You promised to tell me how to get into the Sawtooth and how to hike them. So I'll just share with you as much information as I have on the Sawtooth and this hike. And if you have any questions, I would love to see it in the comment section here, but I probably won't address those until the end of this live stream. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So, Now, is everyone watching Thursday Night Football? The terrible Jets playing the terrible Colts, but Mike White is interesting. All right, so let's jump into Google Earth here. So this is a Google Earth image here. Here's Stanley. Here's Redfish Lake. Here's the Redfish boat dock. Here is Alpine Lake, Saddleback Lake, Barron Lake, the Sawtooth Lodge. So there you go. Great to see you. Until next time. No, I'm kidding. So the first thing you got to do is get to Redfish Lake and stay in Stanley. If you noticed in the video, I met up with 3 other guys, all from different parts of the world. The one guy, Larry, if you can remember the people. You probably can't. One of them was from Boise. It was just a guy that I had met at the gym. He had recognized me. He just moved here from Illinois, and I'd never hung out with him. And I was just like, he said he goes backpacking, and he watched my stuff, and I was just like, cool, do you want to go to the Sawtooth? So he joined me. There was Chris from Seattle, and then there was Mateusz, or Matt, who was originally from, gosh, I think he was born in Poland, raised in Austria, and now he lives in Montana. It was really fascinating. You know, he showed up, nobody knew each other. And Chris spoke Polish, so they spoke Polish on the trip, which was really funny. Chris I had met on a trail at Goat Lake earlier this year. And then Mateusz I met doing the Middle Fork of the Salmon, the fishing trip. He was a guest on it. So a bunch of guys that I barely knew, but we all met in Stanley. And of course, this is a through hike. So I left my truck at the Sawtooth Lodge. And then as you can see here, this is Highway 21. This is where you come in from Boise. So if you're going up Highway 21, Larry picked me up at the Sawtooth Lodge. I left my truck there. If you zoom in here, you actually get off this trail at the Grand Jean campground, and you can park your car there. I called the Sawtooth Lodge and said, you know, what's the closest place to the trailhead that I could park? And they weren't really sure if I was allowed to park here. You can. So you don't have to park at the Sawtooth Lodge. This is about a mile between the two. I would say park a truck at the Grand Jean campground, so when you get right off the trail, you could be at your car and not have to have a mile hike to the lodge on a road. So from Highway 21 to the Sawtooth Lodge, it's 6 miles. It's a dirt trail. It's a graded dirt trail. You can make it in pretty much any car. It'll take you about 20 minutes Sacagawea Hot Springs is down there if you want to check out the lodge. Really cool place. They make great milkshakes, huckleberry milkshakes, which is an Idaho favorite, burgers and stuff. When I dropped off my truck, it was the last day they were open, and then when we got done, they were actually closed for the season, so we didn't get to partake in any burgers or anything, but there you have it. So the other thing is I called around for a shuttle service, and I didn't find one. I know there are shuttle services in Stanley and stuff like that, but it was really hard to find. So if you do this trip, you're probably going to have to provide your own shuttle. Fortunately, it's a pretty easy shuttle from the Sawtooth Lodge. It's about 40 minutes through Highway 21 to Stanley, where we rendezvoused with the rest of the group. We stayed the night before our trip at Stanley Lake, which is right here. And you would probably ask, why did you not stay at Redfish Lake? Well, Redfish Lake does not have dispersed camping around it. Actually, dispersed camping is not allowed. If you want to stay at Redfish Lake, you have to stay at the lodge, or you have to stay at one of the several campsites that you book. At this point in time, this time of year, we went the first or second week in October. I forget. It was like October 5th, let's say. The lodge closes on October 17th. This year it does. So real late in the season. And at this point, all of those campsites were closed, bars across them, except for one. And campsites around Redfish Lake, you got to get them early. Like those campgrounds fill. So there is more dispersed camping around Stanley Lake, which you can see Stanley Lake right here, Stanley right here. It's not very far. So there's Stanley Lake Campground, which you can, you got to book and you got to stay. But you see like this area and stuff, this is all dispersed camping. There's dispersed camping back here. There's dispersed camping back here. We actually were staying right about here. This is the top secret information that locals don't like. That whole, the theme of this video was anti-localism, which is, I think, going to be like the theme of my channel for years to come. But these are really good dispersed sites and friendly information sites all around here and stuff like that. So if you're looking to just like pull in, just pull up a car, go there and not Redfish. When you go to Redfish the next day, you don't have to call in advance and book the shuttle. Actually, you can't do that. It's first come, first serve. The shuttle leaves when they have 2 people ready to go. So, if you're doing this solo, you got to pay for 2 people to get that boat off the dock. It fits like 6 people. I don't know if they had a bigger boat. I mean, they have a ton of boats. It might be two shuttle trips if you have a larger group. But it's about 6 people. It's $14 a person. And as soon as you show up, you can go pay. They take credit cards. They take cash. You do not park at the lodge. They don't want you parking at the lodge when you take the marina here. Right down the road here, you can see right here is at the Redfish Trailhead is the parking lot. If you saw my Fishhook Meadow video, which is my most popular hiking video, I believe, on this channel, this is where you go to Fishhook Meadow right here. This is the Redfish Trailhead. It's pretty popular. So you park there. Doesn't cost anything to park. You can't camp there. Don't camp there. And then you just walk down the road and you go right to the dock. You pay. If you don't want to pay for a shuttle across, which I guess you don't have to, but this is your fun, check out this fun route you can do instead. You can go up here, you can take this trail, you can kind of see it faint here on Google Earth, and you can hike your happy ass all the way across to the inlet. I mean, we'll just zoom out here and see how fun that is. Oh yeah, all the way across to the inlet. So you can see it. I think it's about 5 miles, so it's gonna take you a while. Bench Lakes is a popular spot. I haven't been there. Do the boat. I mean, it's fun. It's an experience in itself, having the boat trip. You get to cruise across Redfish Lake in the boat. It's not that much. You can see a boat in there on Google Earth. Look at that. Bam. So cool. So this is the trailhead. It's the Redfish Inlet trailhead. Speaking of those benched lakes right there, you can also get there from here. So if you're like, hey, I want to take the boat because I just want to see the awesome boat trip, you can also take the boat trip to the inlet and go to the benched lakes and then come down and get in your car right there, you know, instead of going up and back, doing more of the loop. There's a big camp right at the inlet. This is the dock that they let you out on, and then you just follow this up the road. You enter the wilderness right about here, where you'll sign your wilderness permit and everything, and away you go. So for this trip, I used Scott Marchant's book, The Hiker's Guide, Idaho's Sawtooth Country. If you don't know Scott, he's kind of like the hiking guru of this area of southwestern Idaho. He doesn't have like one chapter on like the through hike that we did, but you know, he's got a chapter on getting to Saddleback Lakes. He's got a chapter on getting to the Divide. He's got a chapter of Sawtooth Lodge to Barron Lakes. So you just kind of put those together. There's some good information in Scott's book if you want more info on planning this trip. So it's about 2.5 miles from the inlet on a level path. You will not get lost. I think from the inlet to Saddleback Lakes, it's 3.7 miles in total. Now, as soon as there is no like path to Saddleback Lakes, all right? And switch back over here. So 3.7 miles from the inlet to Saddleback Lakes. There's a path to here, right about here, where you can see. And then there is no sign, there is no path, there's not even cairns. Cairns? I still don't know how to say that word. Cairns, cairns. You know what they are, those little rock things. There is just like in the bush, you can kind of see to your left-hand side, like just it looks like people went there. And then there was the stream crossing that we had in the video. Like that is right after. So this is like the going to Saddleback Lakes here. This is kind of the trail. You can see it's kind of even. You get these wood bridges. It's very maintained, fill up on water. And then there's this little path that you duck into, and immediately like there's this stream crossing. And this is probably the best landmark to let you know that you're on the right path, that you've turned at the right point. There are these logs here. Real sketchy crossing here, but it looks like, hey, people cross the stream here. This must be the way to Saddleback. Only Larry and I attempted the logs. Chris took his shoes off. Matt went up the trail. So it wasn't the easiest stream crossing, but that's probably like the best giveaway to know that you're on the trail. And then, you know, you're just kind of following this creek up. And yeah, you can see that people have gone in places like, but there's a lot of times where you're just trusting your Garmin, you know? If you don't have a Garmin or you don't have an All Trails or something like that you can navigate with, you're probably going to need that for Saddleback Lakes. Where was I? Google Earth. Okay, so after you cross the creek, you know, you're about 1.5 miles away from the lakes. You're going to gain about 1,900 feet of elevation. So it's up, it's off trail, it's a scramble, it's gonna kick your ass. I mean, just hands down. Know what you're doing if you go up here. Once you get up here, the real key feature is right here. This is Elephant's Perch. You probably saw it in the video. A lot of rock climbers come up here. You'll get to these little lakes here, and then like we camped right here, there is this was the lookout point. Then we camped right here. And then right here was where you make that fun splash. This is where everyone jumps off of. You get a good view of Elephant's Perch. And then up here is a little upper lake. There are some shots of that actually in the video. There just wasn't much to it. I don't know. I mean, it's beautiful, but I guess there is no fires allowed around Saddleback. So make sure you come prepared and you are ready for warmth. Obviously, like I said, we went in October. The Sawtooths are the coldest place in Idaho. During the winter, Stanley sees temperatures of -25 degrees. I tell people that middle of October, if they say, hey, how long before you do this, how long are the Sawtooths open? I would say, like, if you're not like a winter backpacker, like mid-October is the latest you can do. The one good thing about going this late in the year is, one, less people. We saw three groups, three groups on this whole experience. I love how people say, like, the Sawtooths are so full. It's like, go farther, get colder. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's Saddleback. So if you noticed in the video, and if you're a winter backpacker, you probably already know this, but I got this really fancy new Nemo switchback. Chris had one. We saw a bunch of people on the trail with one of these. This is really nice. As I get into winter backpacking, like I just was out sleeping on snow, having this down first and then putting your other air mattress on top of it is really useful. This thing only costs $40. It's really light. You saw it in the video. It goes on the outside of my bag. It was just really useful. I used a sleeping pad with an R value of 4.4. It worked for this trip. It did, so I had that. I had my sleeping pad of 4.4. I had a 15-degree bag, and I had a sleeping bag liner, and I actually stayed warm in the beginning of October. Now, I'm going into the winter thing. I got a 0-degree bag, and I've upgraded my sleeping pad to one with a over 6 R value. But I think in the beginning of October, that setup worked really well. So, closed cell foam pad, decent insulated sleeping pad. If you have a 15-degree bag or like a 20, which is I'm guessing most of you do if you're, a 3-season hiker. I just had that video about a sleeping bag liner that really helps. But I'm learning very quickly that the cold when you sleep does not get you from above, it gets you from below. So just maybe that extra closed foam pad, if you're heading out in October and you're going to be at 9,000 feet like you are at Saddleback. So after Saddleback, you got to scramble back down, which is almost harder than going back up. And then day 2, you're going to have that's going to kick your butt. So you'll walk along this level trail to here. There will be a little sign there. Let's actually pull up the video. So let's just watch the video for a little bit to see what I just talked about. So this is like on the way to Saddleback. You can see it's just a climb. That was Elephant's Perch. There is a stream that's, this is Elephant's Perch behind me. There is a stream that runs down, obviously, the outlet creek from Saddleback down. You can always just follow that noise, and you're going the right way. But here you can kind of see this is really good. You can see you're just scrambling over boulders here. There is no trail. Right back here, you can kind of see very faintly down in this corner, like there's a little bit of a trail. So it's kind of like that, touch and go. And then, people haven't really put cairns up or anything like that. Cairns. So that's it. Oh, Did you notice all the fun stuff I had? All the chessboard I had out here. I don't know, it was in there. Hey, if you're into chess or anything, all these fun games that I had in this video. Where's my cribbage board? Well, I don't have my cribbage board. It's around here. So, oh, there it is. So a new store in Boise just opened up. Even if you're not from Boise, you can order things online. It's called Compass Goods. It's from the people of Banana Inc. Lana's starting to design these really just games for backpackers and to get outside, these really small things that you can carry. So if you have a group, these are always fun. They make great Christmas gifts. Dominoes, you can see right here, which I don't know how to play. There's obviously my cribbage board right here, handmade cribbage board if you like cribbage. And then, as you saw in the video, there's chess checkers. It's a chess and checkers set, but it's just like this little bandana. So really cool, really lightweight type stuff. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And then the pieces are like wood, and they're just there you go. I don't know if that's the king or the queen or what. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh, cool. Those little pieces. So, Compass Goods, check them out. If you're in town, you can go to the store. If not, you can go online, compassgoods.com. There's probably not a link down right now. I didn't know I'd be talking about them. But if you're seeing this in the future, I put a link down there. Where was I at? So, you'll scramble back down Saddleback Lakes. You'll walk on an even path down to this. There'll be a sign here that says up to Alpine Lake, or this way, left to Kramer Lakes. Kramer Lakes is a very popular destination, so is Alpine. And this sign is right here. So after you've come down Saddleback, you'll meet this sign here. We chose to go up, and then it's just up, switchbacks. I didn't do a very good, you can just see it right here. I didn't really stay within the lines. I don't draw within the lines, but switchback. So yeah, this hike's gonna is the most, I thought this was the most stressful. The group differed. Some people thought, because what you're gonna do on day 2 is you're gonna get up and over the Barron Divide. So you're gonna do about 2,200 feet of elevation over the course of like 11 miles. When you go to Saddleback, you do 1,900 feet of elevation in 1.5 miles. So Saddleback is just like this straight up climb, which I would rather do that. I would rather just go straight up for 1.5 miles and get it over with than do what we did on day 2, which is like all day, you're not going straight up, but you're just going up. So switchback, come up here. Your first reprieve is Alpine Lake, which was in the video. Let's see. I think I mentioned it. So here's the uphill that we did. Beautiful view, obviously. Looking back, I don't know. I think this is Saddleback, right? I think that's Elephant's Perch right there. So, I mean, you got to get that back down into the valley. Here's Alpine Lake. Beautiful lake. Plenty of camping sorry, Larry with his shirt off. Plenty of camping right around here, but great spot to stop and have some lunch. And then you just continue. This is Alpine Lake. That's my stupid face. And these are the little lakes that you pass right here. So this is the lakes that you pass right here. Scott Marchand in his book said these are good spots to camp if you go during a busy week or anything like that. If you're like, hey, I kind of want some solitude. I'm here on 4th of July weekend. The Sawtooths are pretty busy if you go on the 4th of July weekend. Check these lakes out for a campsite. I'm sure you'll be more alone than in the other places. And then from there, you're just up, up, up. And this is the Barron Divide right here. And that's where you get, what is that? Sorry, Google Earth. Can I turn? Thank you. Thank you. So this is that great view that we got. It's mat on the top of it. That's the actual divide where you come up over it. The rock where you can look at everything that you just went through. Come on. And here's kind of your view as you hike down. Man, I went for some real artsy stuff. I didn't just want to give people a view. Come on. Snow in October. Yeah, right there. You can see it. This is the upper lake right here. There's a lower lake down here. We camped at the lower lake, which is the main lake. Just walk past the upper lake in this beautiful spot that we found right at the outlet creek. It's really nice in October. Again, you get it to yourself, first pick of the lakes. But there's a lot of camping around the Barron Lakes. They're obviously big. This is a bigger lake than Saddleback. There's a lot more room in this valley. And I think that Barron Lake, it reminds me of Toxaway a little bit. So I did Toxaway, if you're familiar with the Sawtooths. Toxaway is the biggest lake in the Sawtooths, and it's on the Alice Toxaway Loop. And on one side, there's so on the Alice Toxaway Loop, you take the Tin Cup Trailhead up to Alice Lake, up to Twin Lakes, up over Snowy Side Pass, and down to Toxaway. So it's a lot of elevation to get to that lake, and it's I don't know, I'm going to guess here, 10, 11 miles from the trailhead. And then on the other side, since that's a loop, if you were to come the other way, it's all uphill and it's about 10 miles too. So it sits in the middle of the trailhead, Toxaway does, so it doesn't get any day hikers, and it's just I don't know, there's a lot of easier places to get to. And that's what Barron Lake reminds me of. It's 10 miles probably from the inlet, and it's 12, 11 miles from Sawtooth Lodge. So it's right in that nice sweet spot in the middle. And since it's so large, I think that if you're going to plan a busier week in the Sawtooths, this is a place that you can actually find some spots and some more solitude. I don't think you'll get as many day hikers here, and just less people in general. I mean, again, the farther you go, the harder the hike is. Just naturally, the less people you're going to see. So I thought that was a cool feature about Barron Lake, and of course, there's the 3 lakes. You can stay at all of them. Just a beautiful lake. Fishing. There was fish in both lakes, Saddleback and Barron. I caught 6 fish at Saddleback and none in this damn lake. But Chris caught none in Saddleback and about 10 in this lake. So I don't know who's got the best fishing. All the fish were these small little brook trout. I was not even interested by the end of it. Back to Google Earth. All right. So we came down Barron Lake. Man, so the upper Barron Lake, that's interesting. So look at how big I'm just realizing this now. So I thought we were at the biggest Barron Lake. This is where we stayed, I believe. Google Earth is tricking me. I'm 99% sure, yeah. Like we stayed right here at this little Barron Lake. So the upper one is the bigger one. Huh. I think when you stand up there and you look out over them, this one looks bigger than it does on Google Earth. Excuse me. Interesting. So even more room than I thought. We stayed here. There was plenty of camping like right here at the upper one, but we stayed right here. We wanted to be at this lower one because there's less miles to go in the morning. And the trail doesn't cut this far away from the lakes. I just was putting that in. It actually kind of comes through here and then takes you right next to these lakes. So the trail hugs these lakes. You won't have to scramble off trail to get to them, but I preferred that lake. And I couldn't even see Lower Barron Lake. Apparently there's a Lower Barron Lake. I don't know if it's that one. Google Earth, just whatever. We're learning together, right? Thought there were 3. I think one of those is. Anyways, so from Barron Lake, after you stay at one of these 2 or 3 lakes, I don't know, I'm confused. You lose 3,000 feet of elevation and you got to go 11 miles. So it's a pretty standard all the way down, all the way down, all the way down till you get to Grand Jean Campground. There's nothing to it. It's all on a very defined path. You make it to Grand Jean Campground. And of course you could do it the other way around. You could do Barron Lakes as an out and back. And that's the hike. Let's go to the comment section. Even in the middle of the season, those dispersed campsites at Stanley Lake are open. Definitely a good spot to go. I agree. It is a good spot to go. Isaac. Redfish Lake does have dispersed camping. First left or have you drive in, up a little hill. Got that from Interpretive Ranger. All right. Sounds good. There is also a sign right when you turn right to head to Redfish Lake that says, no dispersed camping. So, but, yeah, I don't believe. Calmer than you are. I agree. Calmer than you are, dude. Someone like my mug. Like my mug. Any Big Lebowski fans out there? The no fire thing threw me off all summer. Yeah. Well, we were allowed to have fires we were staying at Stanley Lake and someone actually came over and was like, is there fires allowed right now? Because we're going to start one. And I think so. How much did your pack weigh? Probably like 40 pounds. I have so much camera gear. It's like, I think my dry weight for that bag is like 35 or whatever. That's about it. That's about it. That's about the hike. How long have we done this for? 33 minutes? Normally from here I talk about all the behind the scenes stuff, but I think I pretty much mentioned it. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm glad you all watch. Stay tuned. Okay, I'll leave you with this. So I've only been doing this backpacking thing for 2 years. So I think this is like my second full season. And so my goal now, because like when you start this whole thing backpacking, no matter who you are, like you got to start somewhere. So my first goal was to just go out for a night and like survive. And then it's like, okay, now I want to do like a multi-day trip, and now I want to do like 30 miles through Hell's Canyon. And I've always had these goals. And my goal now, at this point in my backpacking career, or whatever you want to call it, is to do the Sawtooth, to be able to do the Sawtooth in the dead of winter. So that is what I am working on. So I just had my first experience of going out into the snow. I bought this new like teepee thing with a stove in it. The stove was terrible. It did not work. The chimney blew off in the middle of the night. It was crazy. Smoked us out. I took the same setup that I did for the Sawtooth and immediately came back and had to upgrade like my sleeping pad and stuff. So if you stick around and you stick with me and you watch this channel, that's what you're going to get this winter. You're going to get my journey of just trying to become a winter backpacker. And if the first video I shot is any indication, I am going to fail a lot. And from those mistakes, hopefully I will learn a thing or two about winter backpacking, and you can take what you will away from it, and hopefully it helps you. Hopefully you can help me as well. There's some questions that I have. It's hard to find this kind of stuff on YouTube, like just like one is like boots. Like if anyone has any tips on hiking in the snow with their boots, I have winter boots, like snow boots, insulated, Merrell, good ones. I could not keep my socks dry, even though they're waterproof. And I've been talking on this channel for a long time, like why I wear trail runners versus boots, because I just am like, I can never keep my boots dry. And once they get wet, they're constantly wet. And I dressed really well, but for some reason, I just couldn't keep them dry. I know, like, is gaiters the way to go? Does anyone have like a high hiking boot that they like? Is there, what's the best way to keep my feet dry when you're up to, ankle deep in snow? That was something so hopefully, if you guys stick with me, we can learn together how to do the winter backpacking thing. And then hopefully, like this video, I get a few of you out there, because that was really fun to have some subscribers. I mean, that's really who those people, like people that I just met through this channel this year, is the people that came with me. I invited a lot of people, more people that didn't come. So hopefully we can learn this winter backpacking thing together, and hopefully I get a few of you out there. And then hopefully next year in June, we all have a nice meetup at Tin Cup Trailhead, which I'm planning right now. I love the first Survive solo night. My first Survive solo night is on this channel too. It's like you can see all my whole backpacking experience, my whole backpacking career on this channel, which I think is pretty unique. Yep, it was just a 1.5 miles, no elevation, all my camping gear. I probably weighed like 60 pounds for that night. But once I did it, I went 2.5 miles next, and 2 nights after that, and it was fun. It was fun. Oh my gosh, someone just, oh damn, I just got here, 2 a.m. my time. Wow, look at that. Someone 2 a.m. So where would you be? Not in New York, because it would be 10 there. You must be like over across the ocean, which is crazy. Isn't that crazy? Here we are. So here we are, people, in Boise, Idaho, and someone is on the live stream that does not live in this country. What is going on? What is my life? How crazy is that? Well, thank you, Crushed Velvet, for showing up. Welcome to Idaho. But I don't really have much more to say. I'm gonna shut it down. So you can go back and watch the playback. But as always, everyone, I deeply appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go watch some Thursday Night Football, and I'll see you all out there.